Friends from the Road. You are now listening to the Friends from the Road podcast.
Gaining new friends along the journey. Sharing stories that inspire, encourage, and motivate.
Friends from the Road podcast. Now here's your host, Daniel Hurd.
Welcome back to another Friends from the Road episode. It's been a little while since I've done one, but tonight we're doing it indoors. We are here in Hilla Bend, Arizona, and it's been an interesting week for me personally. We'll get into that a little bit more here in a second, but we also have a really good opportunity because I've been riding with a couple people through this hot desert heat through California and Arizona now. And so I'm really excited to be sharing the guests that we have. We have a repeat guest, and we have 3 new guests. We're going to start off with our repeat guest, which is Mark. Mark was on episode 33, where we did another one, PTC, Picnic Table Chats. And we had some pretty good conversations then, didn't we?
Yeah, that was good. That's the first time I met you. That day.
Yeah, it was an interesting time. I think we had spent probably like 30 minutes together before the episode. And,
yep.
But it was after that we got to spend a good amount of time going into San Francisco together, riding together. And I had a little bit of taste because your son Tyler was there with a support vehicle then.
Yep.
And that was about a month and a half ago now.
Yep.
So now you're back here hanging out with me. You're my support vehicle this week, which when you offered it, I was a little hesitant at first. I was like, it'll be cool, but I don't know, man. And I'm going to have to tell you, Mark, it's been amazing. Having cold water at almost every break, not having to drink my hot water, not having to carry all my gear. It's been amazing. So I guess I want to know, maybe the listeners want to know, is what made you want to do this? Why did you come back and hang out with me? Which I'm appreciative of.
Yeah, I'm having second thoughts. No, I'm just kidding. Well, when we separated, you were still continuing down the coast, and you were going to go through where my sister's got a house, San Luis Obispo, and then through Carpinteria, my hometown. And I was hoping to come over and meet you during those times, and it was busy at home. And so when I saw that you were going across, I followed you all the way down the coast, on Instagram. And when I saw that you were going to go across the desert, I started checking the temperatures, and it was in the low hundreds, 109, 105, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it just couldn't get it out of my mind that you were going to be riding across the desert by yourself, and it was going to be that hot. And I live in Fresno where it's that hot, and when we go for a ride for 3 hours and come back, we're just wasted and tired and hot, and it's nice to go into a cool house and cool off. And so I was just I couldn't get it out of my mind, and so I just thought I'd give you a call and offer to do it. I could tell you were a little hesitant on the phone when I talked to you, but I figured it was up to you, and I did the offer, and you said yes, and so here we are.
Yeah, at first I was like, yeah, that'll be cool, just hanging out. Initially I didn't think I was going to give you all my gear. I also didn't think I was going to have tire issues where I'd have to take all the gear off. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably still be riding with most of my gear. Yes.
Yeah, it took me a while to convince you to do that, but I think it did speed the process for you. And it's hot, It's
just thinking about if before you had decided to come, I was reorganizing my bags to get more water, to get more food, to carry all these things to somewhat be more prepared. Obviously there's only so much preparation you can do for heat, but I planned on it taking me like twice as long as it has, and without the wait, without having to worry about making my stops, and just knowing that I got somebody coming up behind me at some point to pull over has been really amazing.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'm a little bit older than you, and so I know how the heat affects me when I ride, and I was just thinking the same thing for you, but obviously you are a little bit more adapted to the heat, or just be a little bit younger, you handle the heat a little bit better?
Yeah, let's
so
talk about that first day after I got off the road. I was literally just cramping up.
Yeah.
Like all over. It was like one muscle would stop cramping and the next one would go. And I was in so much pain. I didn't even want to stretch. And you're like, man, you should stretch. And I was like, nah, I'll be fine. Just watch tomorrow morning. And the next morning, I was like, I don't know. We'll see how I feel. And ended up doing 66 miles.
Yeah, you did 66 miles out there. Yeah, you had a good day. I was surprised. I thought maybe 30 miles down the road we'd be done, but
yeah,
you had a good day that day. So,
but no. So the day before that was the big day. I did 75 miles. That day we ended up catching up to some people that we met a couple days before, which happened to be in this room.
Yes.
So we ended up meeting them on, was it my second day back on the road? We were coming down, I think, from the pass.
Yeah.
So you ended up pulling over on one of the side roads and seeing me. And in the distance, I could see these like two little dots. Right. And you pulled over like, hey, there's a biker and a skater up there. And I was like, yep, I'm going to go see them. There's a gas station down the road. We'll meet up there. And a couple minutes later, I catch up to these two guys, or guy and girl. And, let's introduce them, Scott and Ryan. Ryan Rose.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Today, good. When we met, I was struggling.
Yeah, I could definitely see it when I got up to you guys that it was, one, you guys were much more exposed than you have been the last couple of days that I've been with you. And you guys were...
We were a little dehydrated, a little hot. We were barking at each other. It was a rough moment.
Oh, I bet. Especially being on skates. That road where I saw you guys on was... It was rough on my bike. Never mind on like wheels on my feet. I would have given up. I would have.
Some of these desert roads aren't rollerblade friendly.
Mm-hmm,
believe it or not.
Yeah, and the one you met us on was a lot nicer than a 15-mile stretch we had earlier that day, where we were down to about points. I mean, maybe 2 miles an hour.
Not even.
Well, yeah, especially with those road detour, the bridge closure that you have to go through the dirt.
Yep.
I feel like we did like a mile an hour sometimes because it was so painful and I couldn't go any faster. Every step I would take, it was just like I was falling in the cracks, or I'd have to walk over some gravel or dirt or sand.
Yeah. Well, something that I really wanted to bring up and I thought was really, our connecting point is that you guys are on a journey. For one thing, you're doing it for a Guinness Record as well, hopefully. But you are also in support of suicide awareness, and your organization that you're supporting is?
To Write Love on Our Arms.
Which is an amazing organization. For anybody that's been following my journey since the beginning, when I started this journey, I actually supported TOLA. And so it's really cool to see that other people are out there supporting them and continuing to spread suicide awareness and prevention education. So thank you guys for doing that part. And, something I really wanted to talk about is what inspired you guys to do it for suicide awareness?
Well, I guess it was mostly me. I was thinking about something that mattered most to me out of all the charities I could support. And everything came back to mental health and suicide and everything related to that. Pertaining to mental health, my family has a long history of it. My mom is borderline depressive and bipolar, and her grandmother was schizophrenic and borderline as well. And my sister struggles with depression, and I've been through there, and my brother. So it's just a long train of everybody in my family struggling with something in the mental realm.
So yeah, definitely, unfortunately, at some point in our lives, I feel like every human being deals with some type of mental health issues, even if you don't want to admit it or even know that you dealt with it. So I think it's really important that you're acknowledging that and being conscious of everything that you're going through right now to, benefit other people. So that's really awesome. Hey, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about your Guinness record and everything else, and then we'll get to Kevin. So we'll be right back.
All right.
Now that you're listening to the podcast, take a moment on the service or the app that you're listening to this episode on and subscribe and comment. If you've already subscribed, thank you. Now, please add a comment. This helps the podcast in searches and informs others about what to expect from the show. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of the episode.
Hey, we're back, and before the break, we were talking about what inspired you guys to do this journey. I know we kind of went through that really quickly, but was there anything else that really inspired you guys to this?
Yeah. I had a friend pass away about 3 or 4 years ago, and I remember he was messaging me. I have our last conversation saved on Facebook, and he reached out and asked me specifically, he said, "How do you do it?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "How do you get away? And how do you save yourself?" And I kept messaging him back and forth, and I gave him all the advice, and I told him to just get out of town and go pursue whatever he wanted to and just not settle in life. And our conversation went back and forth for a while until he stopped, and that was the last time I ever heard from him. And he passed away about a few months after that.
Wow. That's tough.
Yeah, he was a great person. He was one of my best friends during high school, and he was so creative and funny and so ambitious, but I think he just got sucked in the wrong cycle, as some people do. And this organization meant a lot to me because at the time I didn't know any resources to give out to help someone like that. I think people are afraid to talk about their mental illness, or they're not financially able to do anything about it because, I don't know, we live in America and not everyone is capable of getting the insurance they need to go to counseling or know any other option to get help. And for a while I was looked down upon, where I think an older generation didn't believe in counseling. At least that's what my father said. But yeah, I think this is important to me because there is help, and anyone could get it no matter whatever financial background they're in or whatever place they're in. Somebody wants them to be there.
Ryan Rose, thank you so much for sharing that story of your friend. Really appreciate you doing that.
Of course.
Now, to lighten the mood a little bit, I got to ask Scotty, especially as it sounds like this is Ryan's adventure, and it sounds like you kind of got suckered into it. Is that what happened?
No, she promised lots of cheeseburgers and ice cream along the way, which there's been a little bit of. No, but in all seriousness, we've been friends for a few years. She'd always mentioned that this was something important to her, something she wanted to do. I didn't know how serious she was about it at first. And then she asked me again once very seriously. And I said yes. I really wanted to help her accomplish her dream. I don't think it's every day that you have the opportunity to help your friend accomplish their dream. The timing wasn't really right then, so I declined. But then the timing ended up right, and here we are doing it. I like to do things as well that are tough and difficult, or, crazy and adventurous, some people would say. Yeah, and that was mostly it. It seemed like something that I thought we could do, especially after we both started training a little bit. I saw the time and the effort she was putting into it. The mileage she was making was very impressive. And yeah, we've been planning it for the last 1 to 2 years. And yeah, here we are on our trip. We're making it happen.
Now, you guys are just about to hit your first week of being officially on the road. I think it's pretty impressive, Scotty, that cyclists that are doing a tour typically doing it for their own selves, and they're not a lot of people, you don't see a lot of people kind of going out of the way to help accomplish somebody else's dreams. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So I think it's pretty impressive that you are out here with her and making it happen. One stride, one pedal, and man, you're carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah, I am.
Especially since the second time I saw you.
Yes, so the first time you saw us, we're still learning. That was the third day in. The first 2 days, there were a lot of climbing, a lot of elevation. But because of the elevation we were at, the temperatures were cooler. The third day was our first really hot day. I thought that, we had enough water, and basically after talking with you, I realized that we had as much water as you carried for yourself. Yeah. So we rearranged our gear and basically doubled the capacity, going from about 3 gallons to about 6.5 if we need to. And just trying to take more seriously how I take care of myself. Hydration is very important out here.
Yeah, that, so keeping your skin covered.
Yep, skin covered. So I'm more than happy to carry the weight. It's not as bad as I thought. I don't know. Momentum helps you keep moving.
It really does.
That extra weight.
It really does. And then on top of that, like I said, this is your guys' really first big adventure, right? You guys have obviously done a little bit of training here and there, but is this the longest you've been out on the road on any like manual type of adventure?
For me, definitely, yes. I think before this, the longest I had ever ridden in a day was maybe like 47 miles or so. In town, when you have the luxuries of your home to go back to. I know Ryan has done some longer trips than me. What was the longest you had done before this?
The longest trek I did was 90 miles.
Okay.
Me and my buddy in New Jersey would just go across New Jersey and back. But 90 miles up there is very different than 90 miles in the West. Yeah. It's much cooler. There's Wawa every 25 miles.
Wawa. Batter sheets.
The roads are pretty good. They're pretty flat. The whole elevation's pretty flat. And then you get a beach at one coast.
Yeah.
And another luxury is the first long trip we did, we went from Philadelphia to Atlantic City. We just had our friend pick us up. You can't do that here.
No. The last couple of days you could.
Well, the last couple of days you have the luxury of having a Mark and a Dan. It's pretty sweet, but yeah, it's very different just doing one day at a time. And here we're doing one day at a time, but every single day for probably 40 days straight.
Yeah.
40 plus days straight.
No, so 40 plus days. Let's talk real quick about your Guinness record. What is the record right now, and what are you setting your goal for to get this record, and what does it entail? Like, obviously it's coast to coast, but how many miles, all that stuff?
So the record, the official record on the website, a man has it, and he's done it in 69 days, but some other woman bet it in 2012, Casey Cleveland, I believe her name is. She's married now, so I think she goes by Casey Fisher. But she did it in 47 days. But then I seen another guy unofficially do it in 44 days. And the guy who did it in 44 days, he did it all by himself with no support, no bike or anything, which I think is so impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, and he went to one coast and back. And for the record, you pretty much get to choose whatever 2 spots you want to from one of the country to the other. The mileage doesn't matter. It's just how you make it across as fast as you can.
Okay. So what is your goal? Are you obviously the 44 unofficial, so you got to try to beat the unofficial?
Well, my first goal is just to finish. I think that is such an accomplishment. It didn't seem like a big accomplishment in my eyes when I was discussing it to people. I felt like I had to push myself a little bit further, but only a handful of people have done this, so I think if I were to just finish, I'd be fully fulfilled. But record-wise, yeah, I would say probably to get it underneath the 47 days, which I believe we're on track to do. It's been a little difficult because of the heat and the sand and the deserts and
the elevations, ups and downs.
And just rollerblading, yeah. The ups and downs, but I think it's totally accomplishable, and we are doing great so far.
You guys are doing amazing. Just even riding with you the last couple of days, you are moving. So
I have no idea how. I'm not even in shape. I would rollerblade like once a week, one long trek a week. and I'd be pretty tired after that. But I think it's all about mentality, and I think if you want to do something, you can do it, whether you're to an extent.
As long as you're determined.
Yeah.
You can do almost anything as long as you're determined to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Someone told me I was waiting to pick up a car in San Diego, a rental, and the line was about 3 hours long, and I was talking to this one guy who was a CrossFit trainer behind me, and he said that anything athletic is about 80% mentality and like 20% physical. Mm-hmm. And I totally believe that, to an extent.
Of course.
I'm sure Olympians would disagree. Actually, no. Olympians are are determined and definitely have the right mentality for it, but definitely work on it physically. But I think a lot of things in life are like that. I think a lot of it's mental. It's easy to get a mental block and feel like you can't do something, but you just got to tell yourself it's possible, and
that's the thing.
You can do it.
We can do that. Those mental blocks can happen in any type of situation in life, and I think it's really important to kind of keep that in mind, that don't allow yourself to be your own stoppage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it goes for just about anything, even small things. During this trip, I have such a struggle of closing things, and I know that's a mental blockage because I'm always afraid to finish things, and I think me learning to close things, just like a little zipper all the way, is a big step in just fulfilling something as big as completing this rollerblade trip.
I think you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it. One stride at a time. I know you've been struggling in the sense of not getting the miles that you want at first, but you got a lot of time still, so I believe
we have plenty of miles. I'm always a little hard on myself. We're doing great so far. I always, of course, want to do more, but I got to remember that my body can only handle so much, and I think taking care of yourself is definitely the top priority over speeding through this, and plus just enjoying it. It would be no fun to not stop and enjoy the scenery, or just stop to take a breath, or
and
meet new
interact with people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which ties me into our next guest, Kevin. Kevin, you kind of fell into these guys, I think the day after we had met originally. And when I had found out that I was catching up to them, they're like, hey, we're going to be at this location. By the way, we have another cyclist with us. And I got there. Well, Mark got there before me to try to resupply you guys a little bit. What are you doing? What do you got going on, Kevin?
Yeah, it was awesome when I met up with Scott and Ryan. I was just coming in I started in San Diego, in Oceanside as well, and yeah, it was my third day, and that was a hot day, and came in, met them at Holtville, and yeah, it was pretty cool seeing somebody else. I thought I was going to be the only crazy person out here in the heat, and yeah, so just kind of started talking and started riding with them, and it's awesome. Feel super lucky. It's crazy how everything's just working out. I thought I'd be all by myself out here, and
I know you're gonna have times of being alone. Obviously, you got a long trek ahead of you as well, but I'm sure it is nice, especially at the beginning, kind of getting into the rhythm, just having other people around, and especially going through this hot heat. It's gnarly.
Yeah, having somebody else to just talk to and ride with is making it so much more bearable. Like, I just can't imagine. And just having like Mark with the support, and yeah, I feel pretty lucky.
Yeah, no, I agree. So what inspired you to be on your current journey?
I guess my last little trip up to San Francisco, a little 500-mile ride along the coast.
From Oceanside?
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of got me hooked. And
was that your first trip?
Yeah.
Did you bike before that? You just didn't go long distances or anything?
No other like long distance, but done a lot of biking.
Okay.
And yeah, just did that, and it turned out great. But that was like, I was spoiled on that one compared to out here. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that coastal breeze and fog awesome. And everything else.
Yeah, here's a little different.
It's funny because I was complaining about how like for the whole time going on the coast, I was like, I'm tired of waking up cold. I'm tired of waking up wet. And now I'm like, I wish I woke up cold. I wish I woke up wet.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about right now.
Isn't it crazy how our bodies do that, how our minds do that? Like, it's wintertime. Like, I wish it was 100 degrees. It's 100 degrees. I wish it was snowing.
Right. Yeah.
It's just crazy how we do that things. Now, so where's your ultimate destination going?
Philadelphia, well, New Jersey, because I want to do coast to coast.
Okay.
But my brother's out in Philly, so
So
it's
you're
a cool
family
endpoint.
visit?
Yeah, so at least I have something to go to.
Nice. So you're going to be taking the 8 for a little while, then you're going to be kind of bouncing north. What's your route? Do you have an idea?
Pretty much winging it, but now that I'm riding with Scott and Ryan, I think I'll have some riding buddies for a while, which is super awesome. And so I think I'll follow them out to El Paso and then head north to Albuquerque. So I'll split ways with them there. That's, I guess, what's happening now.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that you have. I'm glad you have people to ride with, and that you guys are gonna stick together for a little bit longer. I'm kind of bummed that me and Mark are separating from you guys after tonight, but it's been amazing hanging out with you guys, and I wish you guys from this moment forward, hopefully tailwinds and everything else in between, Godspeed, and just amazing memories and amazing people on the way. Something that I like to do, I'm going to leave Mark out of this because I've already had him answer this before, but I'll start with you, Kevin, because you're the last guy. Is there any advice that you're wanting to give or that you're willing to give to the listeners that you find that is helpful in your own daily life?
I don't know. I guess all I could say is just if you want to do something, you just got to pull the trigger and just do it. You can plan forever and
Never execute.
Yeah, so I guess that's all I got to really say.
Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate you coming on. Scotty, Ryan, you guys got anything that you would like to add before we close out this episode?
I guess I would say that if there's something you really want to do, don't let your hesitations and anxieties get in the way. There's always a million reasons to not do something. So regardless of the situation, you can always find a reason not to, but I've found once you get out there and start, things happen to get better. You meet great people. You find the goodness out there, and you can accomplish your goals. And drink lots of water.
Lots of water. Ryan, you got anything to finalize that?
Yeah. I feel like it's common for people to think they have to follow one big dream throughout their life, but for me, I think it's special to have a bunch of dreams and just pursue them throughout life, so you always have something to look forward to.
I love it. Mark, you want to add anything before we finish this off? Or are you good?
No, I think it's been a pleasure, doing what I'm doing to help you guys. I get hot and I'm in the car, so it's
the sympathy pains.
Sympathy pains, yes. But you guys, I think it's good to see the young generation, you guys and what you have accomplished already and what you're working to accomplish, and I think that the world's in good hands.
Well, we appreciate that. For everybody out there, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Stick around for another episode coming out soon. And if it's hot where you're at, stay cool. If it's getting cold where you're at, stay warm and enjoy it. Till next time. Copyright OPAT Movement 2021.